States has continued with its high-profile visit to Nepal as Acting Assistant Secretary for Global Public Affairs Elizabeth Kennedy Trudeau is arriving later today. The visiting U.S. official is on a 12-day trip that will include visits to UAE, Uzbekistan, among others. The U.S. has said that the visit will emphasize on U.S. priorities, including trying to counter what it calls the disinformation by Russia and China on these nations. Good morning, I'm Abheudaya Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. 8 people killed in a jeep accident in Salyan early this morning. 7 of the deceased from Kantipur rural municipality in Salyan. Some respite for the Prime Minister and ministers in election campaigns. Election code of conduct to be implemented from midnight tonight. Parties agree on ceiling for campaign expenses. 4 so-called referendums end in Russian-held regions of Ukraine. Moscow looking to use the votes as grounds to annex more territories. And Alvaro Morata grabs a dramatic winner as Spain edged past Portugal to qualify for the Nations League last 4 by virtue of topping Group A. 8 people were killed in a jeep accident in Salyan early this morning. All the deceased were identified later, even as there was initial confusion. Among the deceased, 7 are from Jalbang of Kapurkot Rural Municipality 6 in Salyan and 1 from Rim, Kapurkot Rural Municipality. Among the dead are 7 males and 1 female. The jeep traveling from Banke's Dhakeri to Jalbang of Kapurkot Rural Municipality 6 in Salyan crashed near Mulpani of Salyan's Kapurkot Rural Municipality. According to the police, the accident took place at around 2 early this morning. According to DSP at the District Police Office Salyan, Dipendra Kesi, the deceased have been identified as 21-year-old driver Jeet Bahadur Bohra, 37-year-old Dharma Oli, 40-year-old Top Bahadur Oli, and his 11-year-old son Basanta Oli, 30-year-old Suresh Khatri, 70-year-old Kumlal Oli, 55-year-old Kumari Oli, all from Jalbang of Kapurkot Rural Municipality 6, and 35-year-old Lalit Oli from Rim. DSP KC has informed that 35-year-old Tilak Oli of Kapurkot Rural Municipality 6, who was seriously injured in the accident, is receiving treatment at Dang's Provincial Hospital. The passengers on the jeep were returning after attending a wedding. According to Information Officer at the District Police Office Salyan, Santos Kanal, all the dead bodies will be taken to the District Hospital Salyan for post-mortem. According to Kanal, the jeep veered off the road and fell some 200 meters. The Election Commission has decided to implement the Code of Conduct for the nearing provincial and parliamentary elections from midnight tonight. Parties have agreed to the proposal of the Commission as it provided some respite to Prime Minister and ministers for their election campaign. The Election Code of Conduct for the November 20 provincial and parliamentary elections will be implemented for 52 days. Prior to this, in their discussions with the Election Commission, the political parties had demanded the provision for the Prime Minister and ministers to use government facilities during their election campaign. The Apex Election Authority was initially not in favor of providing the liberty. Meanwhile, the Election Commission has set a ceiling of 2.5 million rupees to 3.3 million rupees in campaign expenditure for candidates of the House of Representatives, while the amount has been set at 1.5 million rupees to 2.3 million rupees for candidates of Provincial Assembly. The Commission has increased the ceiling by 800,000 rupees considering the inflation in the past 5 years. While the parties agreed to the ceiling, they raised questions about its effective implementation. They also suggested the Commission to take actions against those violating the regulation. The Commission had set the ceiling by considering the voting stations, number of voters, and area of the electoral constituencies. The term of the House of Representatives is still uncertain despite election activities gaining momentum and parliamentary activities coming to a halt. Lawmakers, meanwhile, have been taking their salaries while on campaigning for the November elections. Lawmakers themselves are confused regarding their roles, saying that the session of the Parliament had ended. However, the term of the House of Representatives has yet to conclude. The Constitution has provisioned for a 5-year term of the House of Representatives. However, parties are divided over the dates regarding the beginning of the term of the lower house. Based on the election regulation, Lawmakers who have filed for their candidacy for the upcoming election will need to resign as lawmakers. However, many candidates are still receiving remunerations from the state coffers, and many are still using state resources. The Supreme Court presently is looking at the issue of the term of the lower house. It's the third day of Dasai today, a major festival celebrated for 15 days in the country with much fanfare and fervor. Among the 9 forms of Goddess Durga, Goddess Chandraghanta Bhagwati is worshipped on the third day of the festival today. Chandraghanta Bhagwati is the third form of Goddess Durga and is usually portrayed riding a lion. Devotees worship the deity as a peaceful, merciful, and motherly figure. The goddess is worshipped by those who are skilled in music for blessings on their voices, knowledge, and success. On this day, huge crowds of devotees gather at the Durga temples in the Kathmandu Valley, including Guheshwari, Maiti Devi, Dakshin Kali, Kalikastan, Shobha Bhagwati, Bhadrakali, among others. Likewise, devotees throng Durga temples outside the Kathmandu Valley, including Dantakali in Dharan, Siddhakali in Morang, Taplejung's Pativara, and Bindabasini in Pokhara, among others. With the beginning of the Dasai festival, Nepali nationals who were abroad have begun returning home. Most of the citizens of Western Nepal returned from India. The government has arranged security mechanism and public help desks at all border points to ease human movement along the border with India. Nepali nationals employed in India have begun returning from Darchula, Jhulaghat, Gadda Chowki, Trinagar, Gauri Fata, and Jamuna border points with India. Previously, Nepali nationals returning from these border points were compelled to bear the brunt because of complications imposed by Indian security personnel. They were also charged exorbitant fees by Nepali vehicles. The administration, therefore, has made efforts to ensure comfort for incoming Nepali nationals, including setting up public help desks. Despite the claim of the police administration of easing arrangements at the border points, those returning to Nepal from India have shared their grievances regarding lapses in management. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked people in several provinces what should be done to promote and expand tourism. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
कल्चर संस्कार संस्कृतिलाई विकासको कुरा अनि प्रचार प्रसार
पर्यटन व्यवसायमा युवा पुस्ताहरूलाई लगाउनु पर्छ
भिसामा सुविधा सहुलियत हुन पर्यो
मेन कुरो त बाटाहरू बनाउन पर्यो
सुरक्षित वातावरण चाहियो बाटोघाटोको खाना बस्नको होटलहरूको सुविधा हुनु पर्यो
नयाँ मार्केटहरूको पनि अध्ययन गरियो
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. What do you term the exploitation of government benefits by leaders? Your options are A. Affinity for designation, B. Disrespecting public vote, and C. Abusing legal lapses. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.